I'm really hoping the Eagles weren't hiding some type of injury with Jalen Hurts because it seems like that was the case. Did Nick make a mistake at the press conference by saying the wrong thing or telling the truth? Is going to be interesting. We have a lot to discuss regarding why Kenneth Gainwell is not meant to be the number 2 running back in Philadelphia for these reasons and the Cowboys' injuries going forward into this game on Sunday. And it really doesn't feel like Dallas week, but you cannot overlook in this game. We'll see what happens, but let's get into it.
A killer buried, but not dead.
Darren, we better turn around. Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
This video is sponsored by BetUS. It has been a rough road for the Philadelphia Eagles this season for all Eagle fans. Will the Eagles rise to the occasion or continue to play down to the competition? If I'm going all in, giving it my all for a Super Bowl, I'm going to bet 500 and get 7,000 back at the end of the year, and we still stay true to the team that we believe in. But will the problems continue? We will find out. Make sure to check out BetUS. Get a 150% deposit bonus on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000 with promotion code YouTube150. I want to thank BetUS for sponsoring this live stream or video, and let's get back to the content. What is going on, guys? So we have a lot to discuss today. First of all, remember a couple days ago where Jalen Herz apparently took a rest day during practice? Well, I don't know if Nick made a mistake or maybe he meant another player. Somebody asked a question about Jalen Hurts in this press conference the other day. Now says, oh yeah, he's dealing with an ankle injury. And then all the reporters were like, wait, an ankle injury? What's going on? Blah, blah, blah. Oh, ankle injury. What he said it was oh, no. Oh, he's like, oh, Nick's like, no. I meant a rest day. Sorry. I thought we were talking about something else or something of that nature. It was just weird that Jalen had a full rest day for some weird reason because Jalen didn't do any individual work and didn't do any teamwork, barely that. So to have a quarterback on a week having a complete rest day was kind of weird. So everyone thought he was injured. Jalen Hurts did say at the press conference after that practice that he was just with a straight face, like trying not to make it seem like it was anything else, said it was a rest day, and that was pretty much it. And Nick kind of made the mistake right here. Is Jalen Hurts dealing with an ankle injury? So we're hoping that this ankle injury is fine. We'll be able to tell when he plays on Sunday. Hopefully we can get out of this game as fast as possible and put tiny hands in the game at the end of the game and Kenny Pickett. And we won't have to really worry about this with a few days of rest and obviously getting on a short week prepared for the Washington Commanders on Thursday night. So I thought this was a little, how do you make a mistake like this during a press conference? I don't know if he meant anybody else. I mean, if he meant anybody else, no one else has an ankle injury on this team right now. Everybody is pretty much a full go, besides the ones that are out, like Britton Covey and obviously, some other injuries that we have that we're well aware of. Jordan Mailata and some of these other guys. I thought this was very interesting, kind of weird, but I guess we'll find out. We'll be able to tell if Hurts, that ankle, whatever ankle it is, that is not doing good right now. I don't know. Maybe this is too much to say, but we'll see. Now, I think I want to go over something that people are going to be so mad at me for bringing up, okay? Because we've been over this a million times. What did I say? Saquon Barkley going to this game on Sunday in the danger zone of his carries. He had 22 carries against the Giants. He had 31 touches, 27 carries against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Because Gainwell was not producing in that game against the Jags, you have to kind of think a little bit like, man, like how the Eagles have viewed Gainwell, and this is more of a Nick Sirianni thing, as a 5th-round pick from Memphis. Gainwell has been a pretty average back to a good back in a rotation, okay? In my opinion, I don't think he's the best at pass protection. I don't think he's anything special. The Eagles use him in 2-minute offense at the end of the second quarter, which I still don't like that entire plan just because I feel like defenses are not worried about Gainwell being lined up when the Eagles the Eagles could score last-minute points in the first half, get the ball in the second half, and having Gainwell back there doesn't seem like it's more of a threat in the backfield. So I looked at it, okay? You look at the best team in the NFC, which I think is the Detroit Lions at this point with Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, both of them having 7 touchdowns each, both of them having 103 carries in Jahmyr Gibbs, and obviously David Montgomery has 110, so I think the Lions have done a really good job on distributing the football. David Montgomery, obviously bigger, but for obviously the short yardage, could get through with his physicality. Jahmyr Gibbs just being that just elusive, just really good back that we know he could be in the passing game, the run game, what he could do in open space. It's almost bar none. But if you look at Saquon Barkley, okay, Saquon Barkley has 6 touchdowns for the year, 925 yards, 157 carries. Saquon Barkley is designated to have over 500 carries this season, okay? Don't even think about Saquon Barkley having a contract for the next couple seasons with the Eagles because his body is not going to last this long, unfortunately. Gainwell, okay, is averaging. He has the lowest average. If you want to take the Detroit Lions versus the Philadelphia Eagles, his average is 4 yards a carry. It's not bad, but compared to Jahmyr Gibbs's 6.4, and even David Montgomery is 4.4. He's got the lowest average out of all the other 3 of these backs. Saquon Barkley 5.9. We know how much, Saquon Barkley, if they ran him a little bit more before the bye, obviously during the bye week, Lane Johnson, the offensive line, went up to Nick and said, they pretty much said we have a talent in the backfield in Saquon Barkley, so we need to really get him out there and we need to start running with him because I think we all know how special of a generational, and I say generational because he is a generational talent, better than CMC. He is the best back in the league that should be leading the league, obviously, and rushes and rushing yards. We know that King Henry is in the lead with that, over 1,000 already for the season. He's having a fantastic year, but it's a big drop-off from Saquon to Kenneth Gainwell. Not that I hate Kenneth Gainwell. The issue is the Eagles just value him so much more, and I don't get why. There are certain games where Kenneth Gainwell, when the Eagles are in a rhythm, he'll get some good runs. But there's no special kind of skill set that he has. The Eagles haven't been this successful with running backs. They've been successful with, they've had a 1,000-yard season with Miles. They've had a 1,000-yard season, obviously, and DeAndre Swift, last year, first in his career. But I'm talking legit backs. And especially the Eagles haven't been good in a rotation really since 2017, where they actually used more backs with Corey Clement and trading for Jay Ajayi and having LeGarrette Blount and even having Kenyon Barner as like that 4th running back was mostly a punt returner, but he wasn't a bad back either. So the skill set would be different, but it would be a drop off each time you'd get to the next back on the roster that did different things. Kenneth Gainwell, to me, just doesn't fit that mold to be that number 2 back in Philadelphia. Will Shipley, I think, can be that Danny Woodhead of the league. I think as a dual threat, line him up as a wide receiver, could do anything you want with Will Shipley. I don't even think I value him more as a rusher, to be honest with you. I think more in the passing game, which I think, the Eagles are starting to come back with the passing game with Saquon Barkley a little bit, which is good because we didn't really see that until like the first, beginning of the season. Really started out with that Green Bay game, which was fantastic. That's Kellen Moore's playbook. But if you look at the statistics here, now obviously the Lions are just, there are coaching staffs that actually have common sense and know when to run the football on certain downs. Okay, not fourth, not a play action fake on fucking 4th and inches, not bullshit in the red. You know what I mean? I get it. And yes, Jalen Herz is taking a lot more of these touchdowns as well with the brotherly shove. If the Eagles get the ball at the 1, most likely they're going to do that play almost every time, which I think that play is just overcompensating way too much. I feel like that play is overdone way too much where they do it over and over. And I think a lot of players can get injured on that play. I'd rather run with Saquon when you're on the 1-yard line. But you know what I mean? It's just to a point now, it's, Gainwell has 124 yards. I feel like with our second back, he needs to have like another 200 yards, at least another 150 to another 200 yards under his belt to make this balance really worth it, because there's really no balance when it comes to the running backs. Saquon Barkley, got to keep him fresh. This is a short week, especially this week is really important, because it's like if Gainwell isn't producing in a game, they have literally no choice but to use Barkley. And especially in that Jaguars game, they would have probably liked to use Gainwell a little bit more, but because Gainwell really wasn't doing much of anything, Barkley had to take over. I mean, look, if you got to do it, you got to do it. It happens. So now you're going to this week now, 2 division rival games in Dallas on Sunday, Commanders in Philadelphia on Thursday night. That's a big game. We're not trying to overlook the Cowboys, but obviously we're really looking forward to that Washington game, because I think it's really important, and Barkley needs to be ready for that. So you can't run him 25 to 30 times this week, especially on Sunday. Can't do it. I've said this a million times. It's just a really big drop-off. I think the Eagles coaching staff values Gainwell way too high than what us fans really expect. And if you want to keep Saquon healthy this year, and healthy for his full pretty much 3 years of his contract, really it's a 2-year deal with a 3rd-year option, you got to keep his body right. The Eagles aren't used to having a back like this, so, maybe they just don't know how to use him in some cases, or keep him fresh in some cases. And because you don't use Shipley, and if Gainwell isn't producing, you have to revert back to Saquon Barkley and putting more of a toll on his body, okay? You know what I mean? Look at CMC and all the injuries and these the Achilles, these lower body injuries that CMC has, and he's finally just getting back now. Like, that's what happens. They use him. He's not getting hit as much, but it's going to take a toll sooner or later when you use one back for so long. You know what I mean? So I completely get it. So I'm not saying that Kenneth Gainwell is a bad back. If Kenneth Gainwell was like a number 3, I think I'd feel more comfortable with that. As a number 2, it's just not consistent enough for me. Even when he gets the ball on short yardage, he hits a wall and he falls down. Like, he can't really break tackles. Now, in open space, he can make guys miss. There's no doubt about that. I think he's better in open space than he is on physical contact. That's just me. But I kind of just want to bring this to you guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Does Will Shipley need to play more? And I just want to give the examples because I love the running back duo with Detroit. It's so great. And yes, do they have to pay David Montgomery just a little bit more money? Yes, the Eagles don't want to put that much into their running back core. They don't want to pay Gainwell, re-sign him next year for like $5-6 million a year or something like that, and then pay Barkley all this money, and you have a lot of money in that running back core right now. If it's not Gainwell, it's got to be somebody else. Gainwell is a free agent after the season. We'll see what happens. Most likely he shouldn't be re-signed, because there's nothing that tells me that he should be here. There's nothing that tells me that he should be a Philadelphia Eagle after this season. They could do way better. Will Shipley takes the reins, I would hope, as the next number 2, but they got to start using Shipley. I'm sorry. But the good thing about this situation right now is that no teams have tape on Shipley this year. So they can throw in Shipley on some different, an abundance of different plays that no defenses have seen yet. So that is a big advantage that they have, because he hasn't played all this season. So it's going to be really interesting there. So I kind of want to just go over that really quick to see how important that was. And I think it is really important that there's no balance in Philadelphia with the run game. And because your number 2 is not producing enough and just not good enough in general, and I don't think he is, that's going to be a problem. And I'm hoping that, Gainwell and Shipley hopefully can maybe take a little bit of a toll off Saquon, at least for this next game on Sunday, because he has to stay fresh for weeks to come, the playoffs. You know it. The Dallas Cowboys. Now, Cooper Rush, most likely. I don't know if Dak has been put on IR officially. It almost hasn't felt like Dallas week this week, because a lot of Dallas fans are quiet right now. The season's not going the way it is. They're really trying not to blame their owner for anything right now, which they should be right now. Cooper Rush obviously coming in. He's 5-1 when Dak is not playing in games. Remember, he was 5-1. He won all those games for Dak Prescott when he was out last time he got injured, and they're going to be rolling off of that stat book so much. CeeDee Lamb is playing on Sunday. I think they're forcing him to play. I don't think he's even 100% healthy. He was dealing with a shoulder injury. I think they're forcing him to play at this point. Micah Parsons, questionable. Trevon Diggs, questionable. Tyler Guyton, questionable. Literally, defense get pressure and, just put them away. Get your hands on the quarterback, get in his face, and there's no rush ability with, no pun intended, Cooper Rush. They don't have much of a run game. So the Eagles defensively, should hopefully not play passive in the second half. And that's really the one thing I'm worried about in this game defensively. Why in that Jaguars game when the Eagles are making stupid, horrible decisions, not putting points on the board, and the defense decides to play off and to play passive and to let everything underneath be wide open. It doesn't matter if it's 20 yards in front of you, but tackle them, to keep them in bounds. Time of possession goes down, and, just paper cut after paper cut after paper cut, just giving teams these big chunk yards in the second half. I didn't like that last week too much, so hopefully they change that. And offensively, regarding the injury report, besides the usuals like Covey and Jordan Mailata and some of these other injuries, the Eagles are healthy. A.J. Brown, I didn't expect him to even be healthy at all, period. If he wasn't even 100%, if he was 99% healthy, okay, he wouldn't be playing in this game. He's 100% healthy. Fine. I'm actually shocked that A.J. Brown's playing. Devontae Smith had a hamstring. He's perfectly fine now. So you want to get in and get out as fast as you can. You want to score a lot of points. By the end of the third quarter, you want to start to at least put your backups in. Because if they have to play their stars till the end of this fucking game, I'm going to be pissed because of stupid decisions on the field. We're going to find out what Nick Sirianni is going to do this week. He obviously had no issue, and seems like the front office team, they had no problem with what Nick did in this game, whether they're forcing Nick to drive the analytics or Nick is just being a bonehead, stupid coach. One or the other. It's one or the other, or it's both. Okay. After the Jaguars game, Nick on Monday came back to the press conference and said he doesn't regret anything. So obviously, if the front office and Howie Roseman and the ownership of Jeffrey Lurie had an issue and said, hey, if they had a talk with him and wanted him to change things, I think Nick would have changed his tune on that Monday morning, saying that he shouldn't have done what he did in that game. Being aggressive is fine, but being ruthless, just couldn't help himself. And that's where we ended up in a game that we were almost beat because of those opportunities. Obviously, a one bad ref call. We all know how that went. But that's what I'm hoping offensively. Run the football. This would be the perfect time to run the football, but Saquon Barkley cannot have a lot of reps in this game. Can't happen. Can't. So you're going to have to rely on some other guys to do some things. Keep Barkley at 18 to 20, 22 snaps. At least 18 to 22, something of that order. I don't think it's going to be much. To beat them, but you don't want to overlook this team either going forward. So other than that, guys, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think about the running back situation. And, I want to hear from you guys the situation on how you guys think about Kenneth Gainwell, and obviously comparing the lines to the Eagles, because this could be a potential NFC Championship game this year, potentially. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but you could see that. And what do you guys think about Nick Sirianni's comments on Herz having an ankle injury and then reverting back and saying, no, got mixed up with something else? Is Jalen Herz injured? It's going to be an interesting thing to talk about once we get to this game on Sunday. So you guys have a fantastic day. I'll see you guys on the next one. Remember to subscribe to the channel. Make sure to like the stream. Like the video, because it helps out tremendously with the channel. And you guys enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you guys on the next one. Shakes, what up, fellas? Peace out, guys. Peace.